Good day. I want to comment the video. The history of America could have been a different story and the control psychopathic freaks. In fact, it's a video series. So I repeat the title. The history of America could have been a different story and the control psychopathic freaks. And what I want to say is that the real war never was between the white settlers and the Native Aboriginal people. But before stopping the video here, let me explain. People of all colors, including the whites, need to stop putting themselves in a situation that they are brainwashed by television. If you want to start thinking for yourself, you need to get away that thing that puts you in a state of trance, and you are accepting their suggestions, the suggestions of the powers that be. This is a trained psychologist speaking to you, who got made an essay of empirical nature, which was to criticize the methodology of scientific articles. So I do have a very analytic mind. And television is putting you in a state of trance, hypnotic trance. And it puts you in a situation that you are accepting without questioning anything that comes from your television set. And that's the way. You know, it's good to have an analytical and critic way of thinking, because we are not in heaven here, and some lies are said to us. The history was rewritten by the victors. The same way the history was rewritten, the same way they tell lies and manipulate your mind on television. That's the best mind control tool ever created. Was William E. Cormack in love with Shanna Did It? He sure was fascinated by her and her people, to say the least. I will put the link in the video description. If there was not a solid friendship between Cormac and Shanna Did It, whether it was only friendship or more, we would not know not only that Beothuk people existed, but also we would not have known their ways either. I repeat, if there was not a solid friendship between Cormac, William E. Cormac, and Shanna Did It, I don't know if they were in love or not, but for sure there was a solid friendship going on. If you take the time to check my video series, then we would not know not only that Beothuk people existed, but also we would not have known their ways either. It never was a war between the whites and the Amerindian, the Native Aboriginal people, even though there sure were greedy white people in the problem. I don't deny that at all. But the real war never was between the white settlers and the Native Aboriginal people. Like I said, there were exceptions to that rule. There were a few fights here and there. But the real war never was between the white settlers and the Native Aboriginal people, proven to us by the friendship and partnership of the French with the Mi'kmaq people to the point of intermarriage, and the powers that be did not like it to the point of separating them. And I quote, "After the French lost control of Acadia in 1710, the British, increasingly uncomfortable with the bond between the Acadians and the Mi'kmaq, went so far as to ban social interaction between the two groups." I will repeat that phrase. After the French lost control of Acadia in 1710, the British, increasingly uncomfortable with the bond between the Acadians. The Acadians were the French living in Newfoundland, in Canada. And the Mi'kmaq went so far as to ban social interaction between the two groups. The Mi'kmaq are Aboriginal people, and it's not because they are not from your band or nation that they are not Aboriginals. So hear my words and pay attention to what I say, because they are control freaks and don't like people thinking outside their box. So, who are the British who came here to colonize America? And we need to not put all the British people in one box here. We need to not generalize. I'm not saying that I don't have British friends. We need to not put everybody in the same box. I'm talking about the people who came here to colonize America. Well, they were very much involved in occult practices. The Red Cross on the boats that you saw were the Knights Templar. Today, the Freemasons. So this Red Cross that you saw on the boats, and their clothes they were wearing this white robe, there was a big red cross on the center of it. They were the Knights Templar. Today, the Freemasons. Yes, it is proven that the Knights Templar became those who survived what happened in France. Those who survived to that, they went to Scotland, and then they came back to England, and they came back with another name, the Freemasons. And the Freemasons, they don't, I'm not saying, again, I don't want you to think that all Masons are bad. That's not what I'm saying. The low levels of Freemason, no problem. Just like most people going to any church, whatever church, whatever religion, when they are not at the top of the hierarchy, you don't have to worry too much. So, Freemasons, I'm not talking about the low ranks. Don't worry. I'm talking about the high ranks, up to 32nd degree Mason. They, at the top of the hierarchy, don't want you to know that they were first They were the Knights Templars and became today the Freemasons. And I want you to look at the Queen of England, who are also Freemasons. In fact, Prince William recently became the 1000th member of the Knights of the Garter. It's part of Freemasonry. It's a very high order called the Knights of the Garter. Prince William became the 1000th member. So occult groups. And I want to add a parenthesis. There are people who are almost worshipping William because his mother died tragically in a car accident, and Lady Diana was in fact sacrificed by the Freemasons. It was a sacrificial murder to their gods. That's right. She was thinking outside their box, and they didn't like it too much. She went as far as you know, she went as far as dating a Muslim man who was also murdered with her. So people tend to put Prince William on a pedestal because his mother died tragically in a car accident, but I wanted you to know who did murder Lady Diana. It's very well documented on the internet. So, Prince William became the 1000th member of the Knights of the Garter. The occult groups came here to destroy the Native Aboriginal people, and it never was a war between the white and the Native Aboriginal people, if you think that through, because I myself was attacked by white Freemasons, and I am white. The last attack he was a white Freemason. They start seeing the picture. I certainly hope so. May the creator of the universe postpone what those Freemasons want to do to us. And for that, we need to wake up. And this is, of course, including the whites too. Because most of them, the whites, are plugged to the tell a lie vision, and they like it this way. End of parenthesis. But I like to communicate with my Native Aboriginal brothers and sisters here because I always, since my childhood, loved difference. My first friend was black charcoal. I was 8 years old and she was 6. And I'm white as snow, so there you get it. I always love difference, and I am colorblind. And I love all the colors in between. All my love to the decent people out there, no matter your color, your beliefs, your creed, your nation. And I do have a soft spot for the Native Aboriginal people because they were here first. And we, the white people, even though the real problem, the real issue was not the white, and the real war was not between the whites and the Native Aboriginal people, we need to remember that we, the white people, are uninvited guests here. So let's be nice to them to reverse this insanity going on because they were the first to be scapegoated by the powers that be, as well as the French people who were shipped wherever. We're talking about the Acadians. They were French people. They were shipped wherever, going as far as the state of Louisiana in United States. And they were from Newfoundland in Canada. So check the maps. They separate husbands and wives and children. They all messed everything up because they wanted to destroy the Acadians. And also the Mi'kmaq, who were either having business relationships with them or being their friends or even their spouses. The Mi'kmaq, while the French Acadians, they were being shipped wherever, and being ported by, they ported the spouses and the family members and to destroy, literally destroy, and ship them all the way down to Louisiana. Their Mi'kmaq business partners or friends or even spouses, they were scalped. For them, we are meat to their grinder, no matter your color. They don't give a fuck. If we are not part of the elite, we are meat for their grinder. That's it. And the proof of that is that the Beothuk people, our brothers and sisters, were completely exterminated by the powers that be. The same powers who made your numbers decrease drastically. I will stop here. Thanks for listening. In a situation that they are brainwashed by television. If you want to start thinking for yourself, you need to get away that thing that puts you in a state of trance, and you are accepting their suggestions, the suggestions of the powers that be. This is a dream. Good day. I want to comment the video. The history of America could have been a different story, and the control psychopathic freaks. In fact, it's a video series. So I repeat the title. The history of America could have been a different story, and the control psychopathic freaks. And psychologist speaking to you, who got made an essay of empirical nature, which was to criticize the methodology of scientific articles. So I do have a very analytic mind. And television is putting you in a state of trance, hypnotic trance. And it puts you in a situation that you are accepting without questioning anything that comes from your television set. And that's the way, it's good to have an analytical and critic way of thinking, because what I want to say is that the real war never was between the white settlers and the Native Aboriginal people. But before stopping the video here, let me explain. People of all colors, including the whites, need to stop putting themselves